Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission, as always, is to take the sources you send us, and, well, sometimes they're overwhelming, but today's case is a little different.
Very different.
We're taking something incredibly distilled, incredibly focused, and our job is to extract the absolute core of what you need to know.
It's a beautiful challenge today, really. We're not, digging through pages and pages of reports or data.
Right.
Instead, our entire source material it's just one very short text. It's called Excerpts from Shannan Shi, which translates to the pasted text.
The pasted text, I love that.
It's got the feel of a dense piece of poetry or maybe a maxim. It's minimalist in the words it uses, but completely maximalist in what it demands.
It's a fascinating constraint to work with
Mm-hmm.
because the text, it takes a single, simple action. I mean, everyone knows what a smile is,
Yeah.
and it just elevates it.
Completely.
It's no longer just a nice social thing to do. It becomes something, well, something much grander. It's framed as an essential duty with spiritual and physical aspects.
That's it, exactly. And that's our deep dive today. We're going to try and understand the layers here, the arguments this text is making. We need to decode why the smile is presented this way.
Not as an option.
Not at all. It's a mandated foundational act that supposedly generates these huge rewards across every part of human life. It's an entire system for how to flourish, all built on one simple, repeatable action.
And what really grabs you right from the start is that the text doesn't say, be happy and then you'll smile.
No, the order is reversed.
It commands you to smile first.
Yeah.
And it promises that all the good stuff will follow. It lifts smiling from a choice you make to an obligation, something you have to do, and it links it directly to divine favor and success in the world.
So we're not talking about just being polite anymore.
No, we're talking about fundamental compliance. Okay, so let's get right into the text itself because it starts with this just a staggering demand.
It really does.
There's no easing you in, no, gentle psychological advice. The very first statement just sets this immediate forceful tone. We're not reading, you should probably smile more.
Or smiling helps, something you'd see on a poster.
Exactly. The language is.
Yeah.
It's an absolute requirement. The primary command is, you must do smiles.
And that shift from should to must is it's a tectonic shift, really. The force in that one word, must, it strips away all subjective choice.
Right. It's not up to you anymore.
It reframes the entire act. A smile isn't just an emotional display anymore. It's a performance of a duty. So in the world of this text, if you don't smile, it's not just you being a bit rude.
It's a failure.
It's a failure to meet a basic non-negotiable instruction. It puts the action into this almost ethical or spiritual category before it even bothers to tell you why you should be doing it.
But I've got to push back on that a little because what's so fascinating to me isn't just the must. It's the phrasing, the syntax. Why does it say do smiles? I mean, that's not how we talk, right? The natural way to say it would be you must smile.
That's a fantastic point.
By saying do smiles, it's like the text is treating a smile as an object, a thing you can produce, a measurable unit of activity.
And that linguistic choice, that active verb do, paired with the object smiles, it's profoundly significant. It implies a deliberate effort, intentionality.
Okay, unpack that.
Well, normally we think of smile as a spontaneous thing, right? A passive reaction to feeling happy inside. But do smiles, that suggests something else entirely. It suggests smiling is a conscious act, a deployment, a duty that requires real exertion, real commitment, no matter what's going on in your head.
So let's say I'm having a genuinely awful morning, stressful, miserable, the whole thing. According to this text, I don't get a pass.
No pass.
It requires me to do the smile anyway. It's an external action that has to be performed, regardless of the internal feeling. It's forcing the body to lead the mind, essentially.
Absolutely. Think of it like a discipline, a behavioral discipline. If you're learning, say, a martial art, you do the forms, the kata, right. You practice the movements, even if you don't feel combative at that moment.
Right, you just do the moves.
The text is doing the same thing. It's creating a structure, a discipline, where the default setting for your face, for your disposition, is this positive, active deployment of a smile. It's proactive. It's not waiting for a reason to happen.
And then there's the other word choice there, the plural, smiles. It's not do a smile, it's do smiles.
Yes. And that plurality that's at the end, it suggests a few really critical things. First, that it's a continuous action. It's not a one-time event.
So it's not enough to just smile at one person and then you're done for the day.
Exactly. It's a sustained, persistent effort.
Yeah.
And second, it implies comprehensive targets. You're directing these smiles at multiple people in multiple situations. The instruction demands this, this constant posture of positivity. It has to become a characteristic of your whole existence, not just a momentary flash of pleasantness.
So if the text is demanding this continuous active performance, I mean, that sounds like a high level of exertion.
It is.
So we have to look at how it backs that up, how it reinforces that demand. And the reinforcement is just, it's sheer repetition.
Right.
The mandate is stated 3 separate times. You must do smiles.
And that repetition has a powerful rhetorical effect. It establishes this idea as the unshakable foundation for the whole system. It's like rhetorical bookends, you know? It frames all the justifications that come later.
How so?
By stating it again and again, at the start, in the middle of the command, and at the end of that first block of instructions, the text elevates this simple action. It's not just a suggestion anymore. It's a foundational law. It's the central thesis. It's non-negotiable, and everything else in the text is built on top of it.
That's a strong, almost overwhelming force, that repetition. It creates a sense of, high duty. And yet, right after that, it's immediately juxtaposed with a phrase that seems to do the opposite.
Which one?
Just smile for win. The word just seems to radically simplify the whole thing. It minimizes the difficulty of the act itself, which is a sharp contrast to the huge rewards it's promising.
That juxtaposition is, I think, where the real genius of the text is. It simplifies the method. The actual physical and mental effort is minimal. It's just a smile. But at the same time, it magnifies the complexity and the depth of the result, of the win.
It's like it's saying, look, don't overthink the process.
Exactly.
The process is accessible to every single person. It doesn't matter who you are, how much education you have, how wealthy you are. The barrier to entry for getting all these incredible benefits for this win is, well, it's non-existent.
But paradox is still there, isn't it? If the action is so simple, why the absolute command? Why the must? Why the repetition?
Right. Why the heavy-handedness?
I think the simplicity is in the act itself. The difficulty and the reason for the command is the commitment to continuity. It's easy to smile once. It's hard to be continuously doing smiles for everyone all the time. That's what requires a mandate of this magnitude. Okay, that makes perfect sense. The simplicity of the instruction is hiding the difficulty of the persistence it demands.
And that persistence is what's rewarded with these vast, comprehensive dividends that I think we're about to get into. So, moving on from the structure of the command itself, the text immediately widens the scope, right? It broadens the application, saying the smile has to be deployed universally.
The line is, you must do smiles for all.
For all.
And that's critical. It feels like a direct preemptive strike against, selective kindness or conditional positivity.
It is. This isn't permission to just smile at people you like or people who are nice to you first.
Right.
The text mandates an indiscriminate, outward-facing application of this positive disposition. The scope is total. It's universal. And what that does is it fosters this foundational state of acceptance and openness toward every single human encounter you have. It shifts your default social posture from, say, neutral or cautious.
Welcoming and engaged.
Exactly. If you think about what that means in practice, the practical application of that universal scope, it means you have to smile at the bureaucrat who's making your life difficult, the rival at work, the person who just cut you off in traffic.
Yes. It requires you to project this mandated positivity even towards sources of friction. And that sounds, it sounds exhausting, but it's also a revolutionary social mechanism.
How so? A mechanism?
Well, on a societal level, this universal application is basically designed to disarm hostility before it can even start. A smile is a primal signal, isn't it? It's a non-aggressive signal. If everyone is complying with this mandate, the collective social environment just becomes inherently more harmonious.
So it's the foundational instruction for creating communal peace.
Yeah.
And you enact it one facial expression at a time.
One person at a time. And then we have to ask, why are we doing this? Why undertake this massive commitment of universal, persistent, active smiling?
And the instruction is clear on that. Just smile for win.
For win?
We really need to unpack what win could possibly mean here. Because given the scale of the mandate, it has to be more than just, generic professional success.
I think win here functions as this incredibly efficient, broad spectrum term. It means holistic success or flourishing that goes way beyond a single outcome. Let's look at across a few different domains.
Okay.
So you have the professional or objective win. A smile projects confidence, it projects competence, approachability. Psychologically, we know people are more willing to cooperate with, to help, to promote people who project positivity.
That makes sense. It's a strategic advantage.
Then there's the social win. By initiating that connection, the smile garners social capital. It lowers the temperature in an interaction. It improves the health of your relationships.
And what about internally?
Well, there's the personal internal win. And that means winning the battle against your own internal negativity, overcoming inertia, achieving a kind of mastery over your own disposition no matter what's happening on the outside.
So the text is suggesting that the external display of confidence, that active doing of the smile, is itself a key mechanism for influencing outcomes. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is.
The projected success actually helps create the conditions for real success.
It primes the interaction. When you smile, you literally change the chemical environment in your own brain. You reduce stress hormones, but you also change the response of the person you're talking to. You make them more receptive. So the smile is, in essence, a strategic tool for victory in all these different dimensions.
And then the text breaks down who benefits from this win. And it's this fascinating tripartite audience. Just smile for me, you and people.
Yes.
This is where it directly addresses the listener, the you, and establishes this complete self-sustaining cycle of benefit.
This is the architectural brilliance of the text, I think. It meticulously defines the flow of this positive action, and it makes sure the effort can be sustained because the person doing it, the initiator, is included in the reward.
Let's break down those three parts. So first, me. We're interpreting that as the self, the speaker, the one actually performing the action.
And including the initiator is absolutely paramount. The text is affirming that the act of smiling has to, first and foremost, benefit the one who's doing it. This is what stops it from becoming this exhausting, one-sided, altruistic burden.
The smile for others has to also be a smile for yourself.
Right. The external expression of joy or peace actually rebounds to improve the internal state of the performer. It's sustainable altruism because it's self-replenishing.
Okay, so after me comes the direct address, you. This is the immediate recipient of the smile. It confirms that immediate relational benefit to the person you're engaging with.
And that smile is a primary tool for connection, for warmth. It's a gift you're giving to the person in front of you. It fosters this mutual positive emotion, and it reduces the perceived distance between you. It validates the other person.
And finally, the third part of that loop, people, which represents the wider community, society as a whole. It confirms the ripple effect.
And that's what completes the loop. The personal benefit, the me, sustains your ability to engage positively in your one-on-one relationships. The you, which then collectively uplifts the entire community, the people.
So the text is establishing the smile as the foundational unit of a harmonious society.
It really is. Individual health contributes to relational health, which then builds communal health. It's a powerful model.
And it's so effective because the altruism is anchored in self-interest. You're being commanded to do something that simultaneously gives you personal energy and improves the world around you.
It creates this moral and practical incentive structure where the duty actually becomes a benefit, and that eliminates the internal friction you might feel from a mandated action.
So now we get to the list of specific dividends, the actual components of the win. The text says, just smile for health, happy, peace, love, and more. And this is such an expansive list. It covers physical, emotional, relational well-being. We have to break each of these down.
We have to. We should treat these four things, health, happy, peace, love, as the four pillars that are holding up the entire mandate. They're the practical reasons why you should endure this continuous action.
Okay, let's start with the one that's maybe the most concrete and a little surprising. Health. By including this, the text is drawing a direct physical line between the act of smiling, positivity, and actual physiological wellness.
Yes, and if we try to think about the philosophical underpinnings of an ancient mandate like this, it suggests a really profound, maybe pre-scientific understanding that your emotional disposition has real, tangible physical consequences.
Right. We might talk about it today in terms of reduced cortisol, stress alleviation, improved immune function.
But the text just simply mandates the action as a form of primary medicine. The smile, as this external expression of grace, helps regulate your internal system. It helps you maintain physical balance.
So the smile is preventative medicine. It's a prescription for wellness that is cheap, easy, and universally available. It frames this positive disposition that it's mandating as a critical part of just physical maintenance.
Exactly. It acknowledges that the internal struggle or the lack of struggle that's facilitated by this continuous positivity has a direct material impact on your body.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Happy. This is the direct emotional state that is both a result of the mandated action and maybe a prerequisite for keeping it up.
This really gets into the debate about emotional authenticity, doesn't it? The text seems to imply that the smile doesn't just display happiness, it actually creates it.
The fake it till you make it idea.
In a way, by commanding the outward performance of joy, the text is acting as a powerful tool for cognitive restructuring. By habitually initiating the physical mechanics of a smile, you literally begin to rewire the neural pathways to follow suit. You are being commanded to embody the state you wish to achieve.
So I have to ask, does the text care if the happiness is genuine at first?
Well, the emphasis is on do smiles, on the intentional performance. And that suggests that the initial authenticity is less important than continuous compliance. The text operates on this principle that if you perform the ritual correctly and you do it persistently, the internal reward, the happy, will eventually materialize. The action validates the emotion.
Right. The feeling follows the action. Okay, next on the list is peace. This feels like the societal, the external reward that flows from that universal application of the smile we talked about.
Peace, in this context, is the operational reward. A smile is a fundamental universal sign of non-threat. It signals benign intentions. If everyone is mandated to project this, the societal environment just becomes less volatile, less guarded.
So it's a friction reduction device.
It's the cheapest and most efficient friction reduction device available. It fosters a non-aggressive, harmonious coexistence.
It's an instruction for creating communal harmony, but on a micro level. Peace isn't some grand treaty signed by nations. It's the active presence of positive, non-aggressive interactions in every shop, on every street, in every workplace.
And finally, the fourth pillar, love. This is the relational reward. It's fundamental to deep connection and building a community.
And love here,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be interpreted broadly, right? It's not just romantic love. It's universal, goodwill, empathy, deep communal connection.
I think so. And the smile is the bridge that makes all of that possible. It's the necessary prerequisite for trust. It's very difficult to trust a closed-off, unreadable face. The mandated smile opens the door. It signals a willingness to connect, to care, and that's what makes genuine relational love possible. It transforms impersonal transactions into human connections.
And then after all that, there's this ultimate placeholder, this beautiful, cryptic little phrase at the end, and more. This is where the text basically promises you an infinite return on your investment.
And more is like a philosophical and spiritual insurance policy. It guarantees that the rewards we just listed, health, happy, peace, love, they're just the tip of the iceberg. It's signaling that the benefits are constantly expanding beyond what we can even comprehend right now.
It's like the concept of synergy applied to a duty. The combination of all these benefits, physical health, emotional stability, social harmony, they'll generate these emergent positive consequences that you just couldn't achieve if you were pursuing them one by one.
That's it, exactly. It guarantees that no matter how much effort it takes to continuously do smiles, the potential return on that investment is infinite. It's limitless. And that ensures the mandate remains compelling under any circumstance. This whole section is just giving you immediate, tangible, holistic reasons to obey the command. It's grounding the mandate in observable earthly prosperity.
The text doesn't let the conversation stay there, does it? It doesn't let it remain purely focused on earthly prosperity. As powerful as all those secular dividends are, the instruction gets elevated even further. It introduces the ultimate motivation, the spiritual transaction.
Right. So having established the absolute nature of the command and having listed out all these comprehensive secular rewards, the win on earth, the text takes a dramatic shift in its very last line.
A huge shift.
It introduces the highest possible stakes, the ultimate reward. The line is, Allah smile to you if you smile to Allah.
And that line is a complete paradigm shift. It instantly yanks the discussion out of the realm of, self-help or behavioral science or secular advice.
And it places it squarely in a theological context.
Right. Suddenly this mundane act of smiling is invested with this cosmic, eternal significance.
By invoking a specific religious context, the divine, it sets the smile apart. It becomes a vehicle for achieving the highest possible form of favor. It transforms the smile from just a social tool into an act of worship. It becomes an investment in in spiritual currency.
And the structure of that last statement is so important. It's defined by that conditional clause, if.
Yes.
It explicitly lays out the transactional nature of this interaction. The ultimate reward, Allah smile to you, is directly conditional on the human action, if you smile to Allah.
This is a profound statement about reciprocity. Human effort, specifically the continuous intentional effort of doing smiles, is what's required to unlock divine grace. It establishes this powerful chain of cause and effect where a simple, accessible human action triggers the highest possible return, a divine response.
It really emphasizes individual agency, doesn't it? And compliance within the spiritual order.
It does.
But the interpretation here is so crucial. We all know what it means to smile at another person. But what does it actually mean to smile to Allah? That has to go beyond a physical gesture. It has to be suggesting an internal state of being.
It requires a spiritual reading, absolutely. Smiling to Allah seems to imply an internal state of profound gratitude or acceptance of your circumstances or just spiritual acknowledgement. It's an expression of thankfulness, of shukr, and contentment, Rita.
So the outward performance of the smile, that continuous doing of smiles universally that the text demands, is in itself an act of faith, an act of submission. The physical smile becomes the visible proof of an internal state of spiritual grace. It's an acknowledgement of the divine order.
The simple facial expression is consecrated. It's made sacred. It transforms your everyday interactions into spiritual practice. If you are constantly performing this mandated positivity towards the world, you are implicitly affirming the goodness of creation and the wisdom of the Creator.
That's a vital distinction. The smile you direct at the person on the street, which we talked about in Section 2, that's a social tool.
Right.
But the smile directed at Allah from Section 3, that's a spiritual offering. The physical act is the same, but the intentionality behind it, the direction of your internal commitment, that's what changes its ultimate weight.
Precisely. And that brings us to the other side of the transaction. What does it mean for Allah smile to you? Since the text is so brief, we have to interpret the conceptual meaning of this divine favor based on the stakes it's already introduced.
Well, given that the text links the human smile to health, happy, peace, and love on earth, the divine smile must represent the ultimate eternal source of those same blessings, but multiplied infinitely.
I think so. It represents the ultimate expression of acceptance, of blessing, of grace. It's the recognition of the individual's persistent spiritual and physical effort. The divine smile is what connects the mundane human act to the profound and ultimate spiritual reward. It implies forgiveness, acceptance into eternal grace, and the removal of spiritual obstacles, both in this life and the next.
The scale of that reward, the divine smile, it has to be staggering compared to the scale of the human action it's rewarding.
Of course.
It ensures that the return on this simple investment isn't just infinite, it's transcendent.
And that's what provides the non-negotiable motivation for persistence. Even when the earthly rewards, the health or the happiness, are temporarily hidden by hardship or suffering, the spiritual account is still being credited. The text provides a mechanism for maintaining spiritual practice and discipline through the simplest possible means.
So in the end, what we have are two distinct parallel incentive systems, but they're mutually reinforcing, and they're both operating at the same time for this one simple act of smiling.
The source text achieves this brilliant synthesis of motivations. You have Section 2, which gives you the immediate, tangible, even self-serving payoff. A better life, better health, better relationships. You get instant returns on your investment.
And then you have Section 3, which provides the ultimate eternal payoff. Divine approval, acceptance, and grace. This dual-layered reward structure. It basically eliminates any possible excuse for not complying.
It does.
The smile is therefore defined as the single most potent spiritual and secular investment a person can make. It addresses the totality of human aspiration.
The economy of the language is just breathtaking, isn't it? By framing the smile as an absolute duty with these comprehensive dual-layered rewards, the paste-to-text essentially provides a complete instruction manual for how to live a successful, peaceful, and blessed life. And it's all compressed into 7 powerful sentences.
It's a masterpiece of intentionality. The force of the command is sustained by the absolute clarity of the reward structure. It moves so seamlessly from the practical here and now to the transcendental hereafter. So we've concluded our deep dive into the pasted text, and we've moved so far beyond that initial simple instruction, you must do smiles.
A long way.
We've revealed this profoundly layered philosophical and theological mandate. But the core insight, I think, remains. A single accessible action, when it's performed continuously and with intention, is the gateway to personal success, societal peace, holistic health, and spiritual reciprocity.
And the key takeaway for me is the demand for that intentionality. The text commands the smile as a conscious performance, a deliberate deployment of positivity that's required no matter what your mood is or what your circumstances are. This active exertion is what transforms the gesture into a duty, and that continuous duty into a high-value spiritual currency.
The genius of this prescriptive text is really in its brevity and its breadth. It uses the simplest, most universal human action as the catalyst for universal betterment, personal, relational, and spiritual. It's truly a complete instruction manual for how to flourish, just distilled down to its absolute essence.
And as we wrap up, maybe consider this as a final provocative thought. If the pasted text implies instructions that should stick, that are fundamental, simple, and required, and it attaches such profound secular and spiritual duties to the simple, repeated physical act of smiling,
Okay.
what other simple, repeated physical acts that we all perform every single day might carry similarly profound yet unspoken secular and spiritual duties?
Huh. You mean things like waking up or the act of standing up or even just breaking bread with someone?
Exactly. What if these routine physical actions are also foundational obligations? Actions that, if we performed them with intention and with grace, could unlock their own forms of holistic success and divine favor.
That's something for you to mull over as you begin your next day of mandated, conscious doing smiles. We hope this deep dive has given you a powerful new perspective on the simplest of gestures. We'll see you next time.